Hi, you guys. My name is Sahil Pruthi, and I welcome you all to yet another live with us at Keto India. This time it is a festive special, a Diwali special live with us at Keto India. And I can't wait to have you all for this live. In today's live, we have with us Barkha, who's the founder of Health Kitchen by BB, who will be giving you the right way to execute healthy nutrition during this festive season, and it will be a super exciting live where we'll be answering a lot of your questions that you've asked in the live. And I'll just quickly ask Barkha to join this live, post which we can take things forward. Fantastic. All right, Barkha, if you're with us, can you quickly send in a request for us to accept you? All right, so we're just waiting for Barkha to join in, and then we'll get things started. All right, so just a moment. I'm just waiting for. Barkha, if you've joined the live, can you quickly send me a request because I'm not able to see you for the live so far? All right, fantastic. I think I've seen her. All right, fantastic. I think I've sent her a request. She should shortly join us. All
Hi.
right. Hi, Barkha. How are you? Welcome to a live with us at Keto India. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited too.
First of all, before we start off the live, a very, very happy Diwali to you and your family. I hope
Happy
things.
Diwali to you as well and everyone here.
Fantastic, fantastic. How's it been so far? So a lot of people are super excited to be a part of this live, and we've got a lot of interesting questions for you.
Mhm.
But before we start, I want to give the entire community an idea about who Barkha is, and then she can probably elaborate better. But Barkha is the founder of a company called Health Kitchen by BB that helps people with ketogenic, low carb, paleo, vegan foods, and she helps them live a healthier and better lifestyle. Right? Apart from that, Barkha, we'd love to know from you about your background and what was your story of starting Health Kitchen by BB, and would love to know more about you so that our community can know you better.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So, like the name suggests, Health Kitchen, the whole journey started in the kitchen. I was making stuff for myself because when I was studying, I'm a lawyer. So, when I
Mhm.
was studying in law school, and I was in Pune, so I used to make small snacks for me to carry to college or otherwise, all throughout the day.
Mhm.
Um, just so that I don't, go out and indulge in food that I'm not. I've been a health freak from a very, young age. I think since ninth grade, ever since we started playing basketball. So I used to carry these snacks with me and, slowly like just make like every day used to be like one person used to be like, make some extra for me, make some extra for me. So with
Mhm.
that, my experiments, I think, kept going. And then when I started practicing law, that's another exposure I got where especially in courts, there's so much junk food that goes on. It's not even funny. So I
Right.
used to carry my own meals and snacks and like eating them guilt free. And that's where I think it just suddenly happened that one day I woke up and I made the switch because I realized that there is a need for somebody making food that I could eat. I was like the biggest critic. I still am. Whenever I see a
Right.
plate of food and I'm like, so what does this have? So because of that, I think it's been almost like, say, you could say 3 years, 3 years back that I started this. So keto, in fact, came much later. It started with just seriously healthy desserts because with healthy food, you get a lot of salads, wraps, whatever your lifestyle is. You get those available easily. But
Mm.
desserts, not so much. Even the protein bars and other things that you get in the market are full of preservatives and
Mhm.
things that you wouldn't really eat on a plate. So why would you eat it in a packed food? So very was very very anti that. So started making my own, and just time has just flown. Have a small team now, and really happy I took that call.
Fantastic, fantastic. So a lawyer turned somebody who helps people out with a healthy nutrition. That's so fresh to know, and super right. Our community had a lot of questions to ask you, but Diwali season or during any festive season in general, a lot of people have questions with regards to how does one stay healthy, and I
Yeah.
think the major you are getting a lot, which people want answers in terms of you could maybe help us out in terms of what are the right kind of meals that one should have that could probably be a cheat meal also and could help people still stay in their fitness regime, right? So we'd love your insights in terms of
Mhm.
what are the foods that one can have, and if you can maybe give some insights in
Right.
terms of what is the kind of meal plan people should have or what are things that they should have when they go out, that'd be fantastic, right? So would love more insights from you on that.
All right, sure. So, first things first, if you are strictly following a ketogenic diet, stay away from any mithai, or any food for that matter, because it's not gonna help you be in ketosis. You will have to prepare in advance. Now, for those who are, it's festive season and they want to indulge but don't know how to, keep it healthy and light, there are various things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, you need to so I'll actually say this in points, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that it's easier to remember. Number one is you need to prepare in advance. When I say what I mean by that is, healthy eating is actually a mindset more than anything. So if you prepare in advance that, oh, it's Diwali and like I have a party to go to in an hour, or there's Diwali tomorrow, puja, all that. So you need to be in that mindset of, okay, you know what, I am gonna have fun. I'm not gonna be super strict, but I'm gonna prepare in advance. I'm gonna either make my own meals or I'm gonna go there and probably just snack on some almonds, some walnuts. I'll probably have like ghee roast them or something. But other than that, if you another thing I would suggest is if you do want to keep yourself on track, I suggest you carry your meals. When I say that, you can easily make some um, snacks which are very easy and doable, like you just need like 10 minutes to make them, and carry along. Or you, if you know the guests very well, you can plan the meals in advance. With that mindset, it's very less likely that you would binge on something you're not supposed to and regret later.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, yeah, sorry, you were
Uh,
saying.
a question here, which I think one of the followers is also asking, is that could you probably elaborate in terms of the kind of snacks that one can maybe have? And I think Deepak is also asking in terms of what is your I think we can take this question later, but Deepak is also asking in terms of keto
Mhm.
desserts and what are the ones that one can try making during the Diwali. So I think we've
Yeah.
got this quite a lot of times, but maybe if you can give some examples in terms of the right kind of snacks that one can have, that'd be great.
Okay, so keto desserts are my forte. I can go on about them, but so very easy, doable ones can be. I'll give you like a very quick, easy recipe. You have, because it's Diwali. Obviously, you have a lot of nuts lying at home. What I want you to do is either grab some unsweetened plain peanut butter or almond butter. So have 1 cup of that. Along with that, you can just mix some handful, like say a total of 100 grams of almonds and walnuts. You can maybe add some sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds to it. Make like a complete mash, just like make a dough out of it. Now, if you are on keto, you would want to stick to stevia or erythritol. If you're not on keto, but you would rather just be on a healthy diet, then you can add dates. You can add a little bit of raw jaggery, and that does it. So just roll them in and literally like take an ice cream scoop or a big spoon and just like put chunks on a like a parchment paper and just literally like make laddus of it. And
Mhm.
that's it. Put it in like a bag or a tiffin box and just carry. And because these have nut butter and nuts, they give you the fiber, they give you the fat. It'll keep you full for long.
Mhm.
So
Fantastic, right?
yeah.
That could be a sweet come snack option as well, right? So
Yeah.
fantastic. So I think I'll probably take one question as well as we go along. There is one question that is coming from Giri. Is that Giri Mangalore is asking? Can you suggest a good brand for erythritol and stevia? Which are the ones that you typically like to use? That'd be great. I think people are liking your recipe quite a lot, but we'd love your insights in terms of good brand stevia and erythritol that you would recommend. That'd be great. And what do you prefer, stevia or erythritol?
Mm-hmm. So, the thing with stevia and erythritol is it really depends on how well you can take it. If you're somebody like me and I can taste that, I can take a little bit of the taste, aftertaste, even in like liquid. Because, like with desserts, it's very easy to blend in the taste, but in liquids, it's a little challenging. So if you're like me and you're very particular about your sweetener, you can probably go ahead for stevia. But erythritol, on the other hand, is also very much safe, and you can use either or. There is nothing better, or so for me, I'm somebody, a raw stevia plant, and I'd rather dip that in my coffee if I want to sweeten it, rather than go for a powder. But that's just me, and not everyone can take that. So it really so what you need to look out for is you need to firstly read the ingredients of everything you buy. I would not outright just want to suggest you brands based on my experience. But one thing you can do, whatever stevia.
Barkha, bit of disturbance in the network, right? I'm not able to hear. You could probably switch your internet. Yeah, Barkha, I think I
Can you
can
hear
hear you
me?
now better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great.
So,
That'd be
yeah.
great. But
Sorry?
yeah, so you're talking about stevia and erythritol. You said that you probably would not recommend a particular brand. If you can maybe continue from there, that'd be great. I think we lost you for a bit.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is you don't need to really go after a brand because, there are going to be many, and, basically it's going to be every other brand, which is great, but really depends on how well you take it. Because, in my experience, whatever brand I recommend, everybody says, you know what, it has a very bitter aftertaste, and I got it. It's so bitter. How do you have this? Now I have so much left. So the best thing to do is probably either get like a small version of these things and try it, because taste is very important. Second thing is read the ingredients,
Mhm.
because a lot of these so basically stevia is becoming more and more popular, and a lot of these brands are mixing. So you might want to read the ingredients, and if it says that it's organic stevia, okay, when it says it's organic stevia, you're probably going to have aftertaste, which is good for your health. But if you're only looking for purposes of taste, not so good there. So maybe you'd want to go for a mix of erythritol and stevia, which is very, very common now,
Mhm.
especially if you want to do your own desserts or you don't have in a liquid form. So like 1 teaspoon is enough.
Okay, fantastic. So I think, Barkha gave a lot of insights in terms of stevia and erythritol, which is something that I'm on the same page on. So I think she recommended in terms of you may be able to maybe pick up your brands, but I think the major recommendation was to make sure that the better aftertaste of the stevia is a good sign. And most importantly, in terms of what we've experienced, I think erythritol typically does not have a bitter aftertaste,
Yeah.
but stevia has a bit of a bitter aftertaste. So you may want to like experiment with both of them and what suits you more.
Mm-hmm.
So we typically, most people that we've seen that we work with have typically liked erythritol slightly more because of the lack of bitter aftertaste. That's a call
Exactly.
that you might take for yourself,
It
basically,
drops
right?
like sugar, so yeah.
It's very similar to sugar, so that's a
Mhm.
good plus, right? So that is amazing about it, right? But just coming back to the question that we were discussing, I think we digressed a bit because of a lot of questions that were coming. So I think you gave a lot of inputs in terms of things that you can have, and you gave an idea in terms of while you're going out, just plan your meals and have people maybe you can plan your meals in advance, and you maybe talked about one snacking option. But in
Yeah,
terms of what is the kind of meal planning that you would do for a day, that'd be
Mhm.
great if you can give us some insight. You would
Sure.
want to plan your meals in
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is to prepare. You have to prepare in advance what you're going to eat tomorrow. And I would urge everyone to start, no matter whether on keto or not. If it's Diwali and
advance.
you want to stick on your healthy eating routine, you have to start the day with fat, no matter what. It can be in any form,
Mhm.
whether you're a person who likes ghee, have it in your coffee, or black tea or warm water. In fact, the best thing to do is have coconut oil. If you're a fan of bulletproof, then you can have MCT, you can have coconut oil. You have to start the
Mhm.
day with that, because what it does is there is an insulin spike whenever you eat something, but with fat, that spike gets stabilized throughout your day. So like they say, what you eat in the morning like sets the mood for the entire day. That's actually true. So for example, I eat an apple or an orange, which is the most common breakfast, or oats for example. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? That is actually going to affect your glucose and it's going to spike the insulin. Now, it health may vary for different people, but let's just stick to, when you're trying to eliminate the junk as much as possible, you need to be able to eat like some form of pure fat, whether it's an avocado or avocado oil, things like that, and then have a heavy breakfast. So a lot of times, what I've noticed, and I used to do this earlier myself, whether it's, when it's Diwali, I know that I'm probably gonna binge or drink alcohol, and I'd rather save up. So I'll starve like the entire day and fast, and then when it's time to like I'll break the fast with a mithai, and then it never stops, because then you have alcohol, you have other things going on, and then you're just out, and then the next day you wake up with a lot of regret. There is
Right.
a solution for that, which is now scientifically verified, that if you start your day with fat, there is very less chance of you binging later. I'm not saying you shouldn't eat at all. Like if you're somebody who wants to be a little flexible but also not do too much, just have like one or two mithai is also fine if you're not strict on keto. But if you do start your day with a very heavy meal, like say eggs and like low carb toast, and a lot of fiber, vegetables, fat, then your chances of binging on
Mhm.
junk food becomes more and more less.
Fantastic. That's a good input actually. So if you start your day with fat, so that the term to this is that one, fats are more satiating, and two is that not insulinogenic, so they will not spike up your insulin, so you will not crave for food on a frequent basis. So that's a great input, right? So once somebody starts with a meal that is probably high on fat, how would they probably plan their lunches or evening snacks or dinner while
Mhm.
they're with their friends, family? What kind of meals that you would recommend? That'd be great if you can probably give some insights there as well.
Yeah. So it really depends. Probably the breakfast is the only meal that can be assured that is, had, in the morning with everyone. And then depending on whether you have your puja in the day, because some people want to go to the offices and factories, and then, or some people just stick to the evening Diwali puja. So wherever you go, I would really recommend that, especially if it's a lunch, and you don't know where you're eating, whether you're eating out or someone's place, you definitely should go on a full stomach. Like I said, have a heavy breakfast, and then whatever does fit your lifestyle. If you're on keto, you can probably have some chicken tikka, you can have some paneer, you can still snack on some nuts, and then like otherwise you can have something prepared from home and take with you. Like I will say that's the safest bet, because you obviously don't want to trouble the guests, right? Uh, yeah, so I think that's the best way to do it, especially when you're traveling distances and you get a hunger pang, because Diwali is there's going to be a lot of traffic. So it's best to just carry something so that whenever you're hungry, and if you're eating a lot of fat, you won't be that hungry. You can just grab and go, just why depend on anyone else? That's what I do. I carry my snacks with me, my dessert with me whenever needed, because why depend on anyone else for your own health? You need to take these things on account. And honestly, tomorrow you shouldn't have a reason, oh, because you didn't keep healthy food for me, I broke my diet. It's just like saying that. So I would
Mm.
really recommend everyone just to sort of prepare and carry along. That's the best thing.
I think we've got a lot of questions while in the comments as well as you speak. So I think this was super insightful. I'm sure people would really get a lot of insights from this, right? So I think one common thing that we're getting a lot is, so I'll quickly take one question that is Vishnu is asking in terms of what can you eat fruits on keto? So berries, avocados are the fruits that we typically recommend. These are the fruits that you typically would like to stick to.
Yeah.
Everything else is slightly higher on carbohydrates and is quite likely to push you out of ketosis. And other fruits, you'll probably have to like calculate your fruit count basis your macros and then take a call, right? So that's a
Mhm.
right. I think the next question that we're getting a lot, which Barkha, I would love you to take, is in terms of what are the sweet alternatives. I think I've got this like 2-3 times as we speak as well, in terms of what are the sweet alternatives, or sweet recipes. Maybe you could probably shell out some good sweet recipes that people can maybe eat on. It could be keto or low carb. That'd be great for our audience to check out that.
Oh, yeah, so like I said, you can prepare those laddus in advance. Trust me, like I'm repeating, because they're actually good and satiating. Another thing, if you want something, like some dessert, you can prepare mousse, which is very easy and you don't have to do much. You literally take like a cup of cream, and if you're somebody who likes chocolate, you want to pick up a darker chocolate, and like say 20 grams is enough. Just mix it in and probably like add your own sweetener. If you're not keto, add some stevia or erythritol, or otherwise you can have like some chopped dates or raw jaggery or monk fruit and things like that. And then you can just set it in the freezer for like an hour or in the fridge for like 3 hours. And honestly, that's the easiest dessert. I used to make that dessert growing up when I was craving and I wasn't even into like health food. So that's one way to go about it. Um, Other than that, you can obviously make mug cakes, which are very easy to whip, with again like a little bit of almond flour, like say 1/4 cup of almond flour. And you can add like 2 spoons of coconut flour in it. You can add a little bit of
Barkha, I think your voice turned mute. I think we lost you for a
yeah.
bit.
So where were
Yeah.
we?
If you could probably repeat from where we started because we lost you midway. The second recipe that you were telling about, that'd be great.
Yeah. So the second recipe, I was telling you about the mug cake, right? So one is 1/4 cup of almond flour, 2 spoons of coconut flour. Then you can add 1 egg, or you can just whip up a flax egg or a shea egg, which is basically 1 tablespoon of flaxseed with 4 teaspoons of water. And then you can like keep it out for a minute or two, and then just put that together. So that gives you an egg similar mixture,
Mm.
sort of texture. And with that, add your sweetener and add a little bit of like sugar-free dark chocolate, or if you don't have that, go for a very dark one or the darkest possible. Um, and if you're going to ask me about milk chocolate and white chocolate, I'm going to say no, not at all. This recipe is not for you, because
Correct.
that's just loading up on sugar, something that I'm very, very anti. So you'd rather pick a dark chocolate, which is bitter, and sweeten it with natural sweeteners. And that, yeah, absolutely. Any replacement for eggs, I just said you can use either flax egg or shea egg, which is 1 spoon of flaxseed powder or shea powder, and add 4 tablespoons of water and just blend it in. Keep it aside for like a minute or two, and then you can just mix it. That gives the same composition as an egg. It's a great
Mhm.
replacement. So, and then that's it. That's all you need. Literally just whip up some dark chocolate with it, like say 20 grams is enough. Mix it all together and just like bake it in the oven for like 5 to 6 minutes. That's it. And then once it's
Fantastic.
cool, you could just take a spoon and just indulge.
Fantastic. I think this is super insightful. I think I really like both the recipes myself. I'm definitely going to give them a shot. So I'm sure the audience viewing this would also really like these two recipes. So, three amazing recipes from you would typically have our audience sorted quite well, right?
Mhm.
So super insightful. I think the next question that we are getting a lot during the, when we opened the floor for questions was in terms of vegetarian healthy meal eating options. Maybe if you could maybe throw some light there as well, that'd be great, Barka.
Okay. So vegetarian keto, as against the myth, it's very easy to do. Honestly, it's even easier than regular keto, because for regular keto, you need to arrange for good grass-fed meat, which is very difficult to do. Otherwise, if you're just eating processed meat and chicken, there's no point of doing keto, you know.
Right.
Um, and that's just going to go into like dirty keto, which is really, there's no point unless you want to lose quick weight, which I do not recommend at all. Um, so vegetarian keto is something that I do whenever I'm traveling, because I don't trust the source of the eggs and the meat, right? So what you can do is, obviously you'll have to depend a lot on vegetables, but which is a great thing. I mean, that's the good problem to have. So a lot of people with non-veg, they lack fiber because they rely on meat more, which again is not the correct form of doing keto. So I would recommend like 3 cups of vegetables, separated like all throughout your day with every meal. If you're doing 3 meals, then have
Mhm.
three. If you're doing 2 meals, then have like at least one cup each of vegetables. And then you can have a form of fat and protein, which is paneer. You can have soy chunks if you're not allergic to it, and you can have tofu. And then, for either you can make a cauliflower rice, you can make broccoli rice, you can make vegetable noodles. I don't think that there's any vegetable you can't make noodles of now. Like, it's so super easy.
Mhm.
And then, for making noodles, you have these machines that that very easily available on Amazon, which are just like graters, right? So it's very like you make it in 5 minutes, and it doesn't even taste like vegetable. Honestly, it tastes like the real thing. I have tried that, making people eat, like especially my father, who is very anti-health, and I honestly made him a zucchini noodle, and he couldn't tell unless till the time I told him that what you're eating is vegetable, it's not actually a noodle. So yeah, I mean, it really can, you can do so much with food. Like one recipe could be, you can make cauliflower rice, you can have it stir fried and add a little bit of cheese if you're not allergic to it, or you can add paneer to it. You can also add some sauces. You can prepare pesto with walnuts, and it tastes super. So
Mhm.
you can do so much. You can make spaghetti out of it, you can add cheese in that. So I also tried making a keto dosa, which
Mhm.
is basically just almond flour, and you put a little, like, say, half cup of almond flour, 1 spoon of coconut, you put a little water, wet it, put a little salt, and just like spread it like dosa. It works magically. So there's so much that you can do. Vegetarian keto is super easy.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
think but a lot of new perspective to people who probably are afraid of doing a vegetarian ketogenic diet. So I'm sure this would be a super value add. I think this is so much, so fresh to hear from you that vegetarian ketogenic diet is doable, it's scalable, and which is actually true. But a lot of people have this myth. But the kind of options that you're talking about is fantastic, right? So I think just to summarize real quick for our audience, as Barkha said, that make sure that your nutrition is rich on green vegetables because one, they have a lot of fiber, and two, they have a lot of micronutrients. A lot of people are liking your dosa recipe. The second thing is to your paneer and tofu and your soy and maybe your cheese as your protein and fat sources. Make sure you have all of that, and maybe you can have your almond flour and coconut flour with that to make a lot of interesting recipes that
You can do so much with that.
fantastic, fantastic. I'm sure this would be super insightful, right? So I think this was super insightful for people who are looking for a vegetarian ketogenic diet. Um, Deepak is saying that he's going to try this recipe on Tuesday. I think people have a lot of things for not being
Yes,
able to have
please.
knowledge on Tuesday, so I think this should be amazing for them, right? I think the next question that people have a lot is that during the festive season, not just in Diwali or maybe a New Year's, people like to drink. It could be a cocktail or a mocktail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what cocktails and mocktails you typically recommend to people, which could be maybe stay healthy and still, you could maybe enjoy with your friends, family, right? While you're out, for example. If you could give in some suggestions, that'd be great, Barka.
Absolutely. I think with keto, it's very easy to once in a while go out and drink because you have options that you can play around with. Honestly, like if you want to go for alcohol, you can choose spirits like vodka, gin, tequila, whiskey, which are all keto friendly and they don't have as many calories to break your ketosis. And then with, if you want to add any mixers, you can go for diet sodas. You can go for just lemon water. You can go for basically there's so much. You can literally have these flavored sodas that you get very easily now, and you can just use a little bit. Other than that, you can also add like some berries, strawberries or frozen berries in it, and that becomes a great drink. And for non-alcoholic drinks, lemon soda water is great. Basically, anything, you get a lot of sugar-free sodas now and drinks that you can have, even like kombucha for that matter, provided it's sugar-free. You can just read the ingredients. It's very important to read ingredients of everything. Like even if I'm telling you go and buy this brand, it doesn't mean that you just buy it randomly. You need to, especially in ketosis, you need to be very particular and know your ingredients. Just because something is keto friendly does not mean it's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be also gut friendly, which is very important. With keto, there's a very thin line with disrupting your gut. So
Mm-hmm.
if you don't take care of that, there is a possibility that you won't not be able to eat properly for a very long time till the time you heal the inflammation. So with whatever you're eating, like even if you want to have some Coke Zero, moderation is key. Even with alcohol, 1 or 2 drinks is fine, but just going overboard, what's gonna happen? You're gonna probably be like, it's just one night, and tomorrow we're gonna get back. But with more than 2, 3 drinks, you're also going to lose consciousness, and you're probably most likely going to binge on your keto. So
Right.
with that in mind, like I said, be prepared. Whenever you're stepping out, wherever you're headed, you need to be prepared, and your mindset needs to be, you know, in that zone. Otherwise, if your mindset and your intent are separate, which is highly unlikely. It just won't happen.
Fantastic. I think this is super insightful. Just to summarize real quick in terms of what Barkha said was that if you're on a ketogenic diet, you can maybe have a vodka, a tequila, or a whiskey as well. You can. So she also spoke about a lot of bases that you can use. So you can maybe use a diet coke, water, or soda, which is a sugar soda. These would be great alternatives for you to maybe have an alcoholic drink. Just to quickly put in some perspective, is that alcoholic drinks like these will not put you out of ketosis. They'll just slow down your production of ketones
Yeah.
because your body is alcohol as over the metabolization of the fatty acids. So your body will prioritize alcohol. Your liver will prioritize the metabolism of the alcohol over the ketones. So you'll probably slow down the production of ketones, but you'll not get out of a state of ketosis, right?
Mhm.
The second good point is that, as Barkha very rightly put, is that in about 2 to 3 pegs or about 60 to 90 ml, you'll quite likely be a cheaper date on alcohol, and you're likely to get drunk sooner, right? So that's the good part about on a ketogenic diet, right? So and she also gave fantastic inputs in terms of mocktails as well, and where she spoke about lemon water, and she spoke about the importance of making sure that you're looking into the ingredients as you do it, and most importantly, keeping it anti-inflammatory and keeping in mind your gut health. Super important. Cannot emphasize on this enough, right? So I'm sure this would be super insightful for people who would probably doing a ketogenic diet or a low carb lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
I think the question, Barkha, that I would really want to bring to perspective is that once you're done with the festive season, or maybe you've had your share of cheat meal, maybe what do you typically recommend to people once they're probably done, right? So it's maybe a Saturday and a Sunday, you're done with your share of maybe a bit of a cheat meal. How do you typically recommend people moving on from where they are, right, to make sure that they are still on track with their healthcare journey, right? So what would you typically recommend to people there?
First things first, if you made a blunder, you made a blunder. You can't, literally be a crybaby, yawning over it. But there are certain scientifically proven things that you can do that will help
Mm-hmm.
you feel better the next day. So one is the very obvious and overly hyped, so that it deserves, is the intermittent fasting. Now, for people who haven't been doing intermittent fasting but do cheat, I wouldn't want you to go like an all day, full day fast. For people who have done it before, go for it. Like, you will feel amazing the third day. um, but for people who haven't, and or rather not want to, you definitely first thing in the morning need to hydrate as much as you can. Like, this is an understatement. Hydration is key, and with hydration I mean only water, nothing else. Stay away from caffeine, especially in the mornings. What you can do is intermittent fast till lunch, like skip breakfast and have your first meal, which is lunch. Now, you want to be careful on what you have. It doesn't mean you can grab like an apple or something, or banana, because you've read somewhere that bananas cure hangovers. No. What's that is actually gonna not help you feel better. Eventually it will, but immediately you will not feel better, because if you're doing low carb or keto, you're just doing more harm than good for your ketosis. So what you need to do is eat a fatty meat again, like the way you started, because fat is actually gonna digest slower. It's gonna make you feel better, and it's gonna get rid of all the bloating and the water. So start with ghee water or olive oil water. Olive oil and green tea, by the way, is a very good combination. Green tea is something that you can have. Coconut oil, you can have a bulletproof MCT. It just blends smooth, like it becomes very, very creamy. I love it. That is, if you haven't tried MCT, please do. It has way too many benefits, and add a little bit of coconut in it. It'll really give you a good feeling. Like, if you have a headache, it'll instantly just go with coconut oil. And obviously, coconut has a lot of anti-inflammatory benefits, so that is something that is very, very recommended. And if you think you're bloated, ghee water is the best. There is nothing better to beat that. And then again, have a heavy fat-rich meal, and I would recommend you have just your lunch and have something small like an early dinner. Don't have a late dinner, especially that the second day. So when you sleep on an empty stomach and you've had fat the entire day, when you wake up the third day, you'll actually feel like yourself again.
Fantastic. I think this is super insightful. So I think, Barkha gave really good insights in terms of, starting your next meal maybe with a good intermittent fast. So, and actually also spoke about the right means to break a fast or get out of a fast as well, right? So I think I'll probably just answer one question that Barkha was answering this question. One another top is asking in terms of what is this fast? Fast, when she says fast, is intermittent fasting, where you don't eat for an elongated duration, and the intent of it is to maybe get your insulin levels back onto normal levels, so you don't crave for foods again, right? And just to she also spoke about MCTs, which is fantastic, and MCTs is medium chain triglycerides. Those are great fat sources that will make you feel satiated, and that will help you get your body back in a state of ketosis as well, right? So a good brand for that is maybe Smile MCT, right? So I think that Barkha gives some really good insights in terms of not just getting your health journey back on track, but also she spoke about this very important thing about breaking a fast also, right? So which is really good, right? So thank you so much, Barkha, for that. I'll just quickly take one or two more questions which we've got. If you have any more questions, we'll quickly ask them. So one question that I've got while you were talking is Riya is asking for how long can one do a ketogenic diet, right? That's slightly out of context with regards to what we're discussing with regards to staying a healthy nutrition on a being on a healthy nutrition during the festive season. But how long can one be on a ketogenic diet, for example, basis your experience, and how long can one do it and do it safely more so?
So this really should be a question asked to you. How long can you sustain it healthy?
Right.
I mean, I know people who've been on keto for years and there's no stopping them. Then I know people who can't do it for more than a week. So it really depends what sources you're choosing. If you are doing a dirty ketosis, I would say stop right now and go back to what you were doing if you can't do something healthy. Because with keto, there are way too many myths and stories and misunderstandings which eventually lead to dirty keto, and you cannot find a quick fix in everything. And especially when there's a wedding or whatever, everybody just wants to eat butter all day, and that's not what keto is. So it is a lifestyle. It has way too many benefits. It has benefits of even reversing diseases. So because disease is literally like opposite of ease, right? And that's what it is. It can be reversed with food. You don't need medicines. But for that, to be able to understand, if you have a medical reason to do keto, I would say do it for as long as you can. Make it a lifestyle. But if you have goals like weight loss or um, like these aesthetic goals, it's up to you. It really depends. If you have a wedding in 6 months, if you have a birthday next month, these are your goals. Really depends on that. But if it is a medical issue, or if you just want to do it for health reasons, then what, I'd rather prevent than cure any disease. So even for preventive measures, this is what you do. You basically make a lifestyle out of it. First things first, you need to read up on it, do your own research. Don't listen to anyone. Please read up, ask questions to people who might have the answers, or look for experts. I would really recommend, instead of just jumping onto some nutrition program or a dietitian, first understand what you're being given. Because sometimes what I've seen is a lot of dietitians also recommend just have butter, have butter coffee, but they're not going to tell you what butter, where are you going to source it from. You should have a question for every meal you're consuming. Start questioning your food. If you're eating nuts, why am I eating nuts? What am I getting out of it? Why do everyone says nuts are healthy? You need to have these answers. Otherwise, what's the point of going on a lifestyle? If you have short-term goals, maybe you might want to skip this because it's a tedious process, and you would just listen to an expert who has better knowledge and get it done. So like I said, it really depends on your goals. I mean, that's all.
And one question that was coming from Diet Samosa was, what is a good brand of almond flour or flour that you would recommend? As you were probably telling the recipe of the dosa, I think we were getting that quite a bit. So, what is the kind that you would recommend for people who want to maybe have, for an almond flour or coconut flour? Do you have any specific, preferences with regards to brands?
Well, actually, no, I don't buy any ready-made almond flour. I make my own. Get real good quality almonds and just blend them in a mixer. Otherwise, the almond flour that you get outside, you don't know the source. You don't know whether it was made from scrap, whether it was made from insect bitten nuts. You don't know that. And mostly almond flours are just they don't have their own oils. They're script of it, which is not great. You need the fat from the almond. Otherwise, you're just going to cause inflammation, because firstly you have to remove the fat from the almond. So it's not going to do any purpose. As with coconut, again, it really depends. So there are many brands, but you still need to be able to try and see that a brand should have the fat intact. A lot of coconut flours are again like, they're gonna resemble maida because it's gonna be white and it's gonna be powdery. Don't go for that. I would say go for desiccated coconut because that will have its fiber intact plus the fat. So if you want to make like coconut butter, you can just churn and see the oil beautifully just coming out of it. That's when you know you have a good coconut.
Fantastic. I think these are super awesome insights. And I think one thing that, should be learned from what Barkha is speaking about is to make sure that you understand where the source of, your food is coming from, right? That's, understand the sourcing of your food, which is where she spoke about the meat that you're getting or, even the flours that she spoke about. She beautifully gave some really good examples in terms of making sure you source your food the right way. And, in terms of almond flour, she also gave you a very good insight in terms of making your food, making your flour the right way, which was
Yeah.
fantastic. Diet samosa, I hope Barkha was able to answer the question pretty well. I think this was super insightful for me as well, right? So thank you so much for that. All right, awesome. So I think with this, there are a lot of questions that we are getting in terms of which are very specific with regards to keto and LCHF, which we probably would not want to take because a lot of people have come in with regards to making sure that their festive season is sorted. And Barkha has given some insights in terms of that. So I think we'll probably close the floor for questions for now. Thank you so much, Barkha, for coming over. I think this was a very insightful session for our entire community, and I'm sure they'll have some major key takeaways in terms of making sure that their weekend is sorted. So thank you so much, Barkha, for that. Any final thoughts, any final words that you want to share with our community? That'd be great.
I completely enjoyed this because I love the questioning. I love that you have doubts because, like I said, you need to question your food. And if you have somebody who's like, okay, you know what, tell me what to eat and I'll follow. I am like, hello, this is your health, this is your body. How can you just do whatever somebody else is asking you to do blindly? So it's
Yeah.
very important to question your food because, honestly, at the end of the day, food is medicine. It is going to
Mm.
heal you. So just like with medicines, you want to find out ki, oh, if I have a headache, what do I need to take? For food, you need to be able to understand why you're eating and what will it do. So this is also a very good trick, by the way, if you want to avoid junk food. Because if you start questioning food and somebody gets you like fries in front of you, and you're like, what will I get from this? Like, why should I eat this? And you'll automatically not overeat on them because you'll be like, okay, whatever, I'd rather pick something else. It becomes a mindset. It's not going to happen instantly, but do give this a try. It really works for me because, I question a lot. So,
Mm.
I really hope that you guys will try the recipes and feedback would be great. And if there's any question on, if you want to repeat the recipe, you know where to find him. He can always ask me. And I think I really hope that some of you will benefit from this and you'll make your Diwali healthy. And it's okay if you screw up, you know what to do the next day.
Yeah, right. So few, amazing, takeaways that I've had from the last few words is that one is that, food is, your nutrition is your medicine, right? So let food be medicine. That's a very famous quote that's there, right? So make sure that you do that, right? That's very important. And a second is a very important side that, even I got is to make sure that you question everything, right? So even whether you're doing keto or a low carb or paleo or a vegan or a vegetarian diet, make sure in terms of what you're eating and what are you getting from nutrition, right? Which is a super important insight, right? And as she very rightly put, even if you probably get a slightly off track, make sure that you have that kind of discipline because it's a marathon and not a sprint, right? Your nutrition, so you
Absolutely.
get back. But a few insights which Barkha said, shared, which would be super insightful for you to make sure that you cheat the least the possible, least as as little as possible. That'd be fantastic, right? We're getting a lot of love in the comment section. Some people have really liked the live, and some of them are asking us to start a podcast. So I think we should start that soon. But
I can
thank you.
go on, trust me.
All right, fantastic. I think this was super insightful, Barkha. Thank you so much for your time again, and thank you so
Thank,
much to
thank you
our
for
entire
having
tour. This was very insightful. And again, make sure that you follow Barkha on my Health Kitchen by BB. I hope I've got the handle correct. It is Health Kitchen by BB. Fantastic, recipes, which I'm sure you must have gauged by now. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and check their content out. And and most importantly, wish you all a very happy and a safe Diwali. Needless to say, try and stay back in your homes and stay safe. And I hope you have a very healthy and a happy Diwali with your friends and family. Barkha, very
And
happy
please
Diwali.
don't burst any crackers, please.
Yeah,
Have a
that,
safe and happy Diwali.
Absolutely. I think very important. I think needless to say, but again, a lot of people still have that. But do not burst crackers as well, right? Stay home as much as possible. And I hope you all have a very happy and a safe Diwali. Again, thank you so much for your time again, Barkha. And I hope you have a very
Thank
happy
you so
Diwali with
much for
your friends
having
and
me.
family as well. Yeah. All right. You take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, guys. So that was Barkha with us at Keto India. I hope you guys had a good time with us during the live. I hope to come back soon with another live, some more insightful lives for you guys very soon. I hope you guys had a good time, and as I said, wish you all a very very happy Diwali, and I hope you have a very happy and a safe Diwali with your friends and family. Take care and have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.